So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Let's jump right in. Galaxy Note 8 versus Galaxy A50. The dilemma we face today is an older flagship phone versus one of these newer mid-range phones, budget phones. Now, as technology advances, these newer ones, they do get really good for a lot less money, but it makes me scratch my head and think, I'm seeing the Galaxy Note 8 on eBay for around, 300, 400 second hand, and I bought this phone for about the same price. So it makes me think, should I just go with a couple-year-old phone, or would you just pick up, the newer budget device? And there's quite a few differences, so we're going to explain them here. First of all, the design. Now, if you go with a premium flagship like the Note 8 from a couple years back, what you're going to get is a premium feel that doesn't feel too far off from the latest and greatest premium phones. The design is going to be probably aluminum and glass, wireless charging on the rear, and it's going to feel like $1,000,000 still in your hand. So right away, the Galaxy A50, if you were to hold both of these, it just feels cheap in comparison to the Galaxy Note 8. So right away, you will get a more premium build if you go with a couple-year-old premium flagship. Now, with this newer one though, you'll get a look on the external design. It'll look more modern. You see the new teardrop notch or the Infinity U right there. It's just going to look like a more modern phone on the outside, but the way it feels in the hand won't feel as premium as something like the Galaxy Note 8, for example. So right away, that design element is there. Also, IP ratings, IP68. OnePlus is not going to throw an IP rating on the OnePlus 7, but you get it here for the Galaxy Note 8, for example. So you're going to get that IP68 water and dust resistant. You're not going to get that on a phone like the Galaxy A50, so no wireless charging as well, but they do both have fast charging. Now you got to realize that both of these do have Super AmOLED displays, so both of the colors on these are going to be just excellent no matter what you do. Let me go into settings here, and we'll go to settings here for the Galaxy Note 8 display on both. 6.4 for the Galaxy A50, and because it stretches up to the top, it kind of feels like a bigger display than the Note 8. But the Note 8 has more of a flatter feel, good for the S Pen, but you can change it between cinema, photo, basic. They look pretty similar, but once again, Samsung has cleverly did something here. They didn't give you the higher resolution here for the A50, so you can get a higher res screen onto the Galaxy Note 8 at 2960 by 1440. Now, this doesn't matter to a lot of people, but if you care about your screen resolution, the Note 8 is a better, sharper display. Now, when it comes to just, Super AmOLED, looking colorful, they both will suffice here, but you do get one difference. You get a in-display fingerprint sensor here for the Galaxy A50, and then over here on the Galaxy Note 9, you kind of get it on the back, and you do have a 3D touch home button down here, so it kind of vibrates. I do miss that a lot, but you do get an under display fingerprint. So there's trade-offs on both, but I gotta say, just from a display standpoint, it's about the same experience, but just sharper for the Note 8. So if you want higher, resolution, a better text, you'll love the Note 8. Another thing that doesn't seem too much different between these is the software. So you get the same One UI on both of them. So the experience of both is actually pretty much identical, which is a nice thing for those of you going with the cheaper device. You don't have to splurge on the more premium devices of, 2019 S9, S9 Plus, S10, S10e, S10, all these premium Samsungs that cost twice as much. You don't have to do that to get this experience that you're getting on those phones. So that's the nice thing about the A50. And right here in software, I gotta say, it's pretty much identical. Now, I do notice one thing. The Galaxy Note 8 just feels a little snappier. I think that's due to the Snapdragon 835 being a more powerful CPU than that of the Exynos in here. I think this is like an Exynos 9610, something like that. They're both 10 nanometer, but this was designed to be a premium processor. This one wasn't. So you'll notice the Note 8 just feels a little snappier to open things from time to time. So both of them pretty quick, but the Note 8 has a leg up in performance. So if you look at these Geekbench scores right here, 1864, 1716, 6379, and 5602, that kind of confirms what I said about it just being slightly snappier here on the Note 9. It's only slightly better in Geekbench, and in the real world, it's only slightly snappier, but hey, that's enough to say I might get this over this. Now, I should have mentioned also that even though the Note 8 feels a lot more premium and heavy, substantial, this is a really light phone. So if you like a light, big phone, 166 grams for a 6.4-inch screen is a featherweight for this size of a device. So if you like that element, you will love the Galaxy A50. Now, moving on, one thing you should note is that both of them do offer ample storage capacity. So if we go into settings here, this one's a 64 gig, but this guy had 128 gigabytes out the gate. So definitely, if you're looking for a phone that gives you good storage, you're going to be happy with both, because both of them do expand as well. But Samsung has really been upping the storage on their base capacities, and I actually have more on the A50. So here you're not going to have a problem whatsoever in terms of storage. Now, there are cons of buying a cheaper device, but one of the biggest pros has got to be the battery life, and that was one of the biggest cons I had with the Galaxy Note 8. And a lot of users complain about this with the Note 8, and I don't have a problem with them doing so, because Samsung improved the Note 8 heavily when it upgraded it to the Note 9, and most of their newer phones don't really suffer from battery issues. They're very good at battery life. So 4,000 versus 3,300 and fast charging. Charges just about as fast as the Note 8, but there's no wireless charging. I'll still take the much better battery life of the A50 over the Note 8 any day of the week. So definitely love the A50's battery life. It crushes the Note 8 in my experience at 4,000 milliamps, and I don't even really miss the wireless charging, because I'd rather have better battery life and no wireless charging than wireless charging and worse battery life. Now, if you want actual stats, I'm talking like, 4.5, 5 hours of screen time on the Note 8 and about 6 to 7 on the A50. Another tough one when you're talking about this older premium phone versus this one is the cameras, because camera tech has gotten so much better, year over year, that when we come over here to the Note 8, you have a dual camera on the rear with a telephoto lens. But they really did have a pretty good camera on this Note 8 when it did come out. Has optical image stabilization, and I gotta be quite honest with you, the photos turn out a little bit more pleasing on the Note 8 than they did for the Galaxy A50 when it comes to sharpness. But the Galaxy A50 has a very fun camera. It doesn't have that telephoto, so if you like to zoom, you want to go with the Galaxy Note 8. But if you like wide angle, if you like that fun feature, this wide angle for the Galaxy A50 is just super fun to use. And also, it does have a depth camera for live focus, so you might get slightly better blur with the A50 on this one. Now, the front-facing camera, 25 megapixels, it actually looked brighter for the A50 and sometimes more pleasing than the Note 8, but the Note 8 does better in low light with a f1.7 aperture on the front. In addition, if you do video, 1440p recording on the front of the Note 8, so it's a better video machine here from the front. So it's a toss-up here. It's kind of like the Galaxy A50 is fun, but it's not the sharpest because it's not their flagship device, whereas the Note 8 is pretty sharp and punchy results and a lot of things you do. So if I cared a lot about the camera, I probably would sacrifice the wide angle to get the slightly better results that the Note 8 gives. But if you like a fun camera and you don't take pictures all the time, I think the A50 will give you a funner experience to use. Now, one thing that these both do give you that I don't really like too much is, single speakers. Now, both of them don't disappoint in how loud they get, but they're easy to cover up. They're in the same position. And what I do like is that they both give you headphone jacks. So the audio experience was actually about the same on both of these. Now, the Galaxy A50 and the Note 8 with One UI give you the Dolby Atmos feature, so that can make your audio experience just a little bit better if you set up your own equalizer settings, stuff like that. So overall, I gotta say that the audio experience, it was a little less acceptable on the Note 8 because some phones already had dual speakers, and at this price point they charged, it wasn't nice having a single speaker, whereas it's more acceptable for the A50. So it bothers me a little bit more on the Note 8 than it does on the A50, but neither of them are the best audio experience, so I would actually use the headphone jack on both of these. But still, I'm gonna call it about equal there in the audio experience. So when it comes to phone call quality, they were about the same. Couldn't tell too much a difference. I mean, I did get better reception on the Note 8 because it is a US based phone, but the A50 is coming to US shores where it's going to be the non-international model. So if you want the best signal strength, you want to wait for that one. But other than that, phone call quality about the same. In conclusion, the Note 8, which one is better, Note 8 or the A50? And I gotta say, for my money, I'd pick the Note 8 because it has a better hardware. And you notice one thing, I didn't mention the S Pen throughout this video because it's not really fair to compare to the A50, but this is an addition that can be the deciding factor easily over the A50 if you do think you're going to use the S Pen. It's a super productive tool for the Galaxy Note 8 and gives it an edge over a lot of phones out there, especially if you're buying used secondhand. To get that S Pen functionality is awesome. So I would pick the Note 8 just because I think it has better hardware, it feels more substantial. But I think if you want a more newer looking phone, a more fresh, modern feel, and you kind of want what Samsung offers in 2019, but you don't want to pay $2019 $1,000 price for a S10 Plus, the A50 could suffice more than the Note 8 for you. But if you're okay with a yes to your phone, I think that you'll be more than satisfied with picking up a Note 8 right now. But keep in mind that neither one of these are probably going to be supported in software for, multiple years, maybe a couple years more on each. The Note 8 might be behind a little bit because it's a little bit older. But yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, which one would you pick, the Galaxy Note 8 or the A50? I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. This one was fun, comparing a couple years old to a newer phone. Man, these phones are just getting really good. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well. Have a great day and peace.